Hey, everybody, how are you? Hey, Margaret. I hope everybody's doing good. Sorry. Welcome to another mystery card. Hopefully, this one I don't make any mistakes. Last week was a little bit of a disaster. So, how's everybody doing? Hey, Do. Sorry I didn't call you back. It was a crazy afternoon. Bill and I are just exhausted. Just from walking. It's so funny when you're not used to walking and then you walk a little bit, it just wears you right out. So tonight we are creating a mystery card and I'm using crazy colors tonight. I was going to do something pretty and pink or blues, but I decided on wild wheat. Now this is the new wildly flowering designer series paper, and it matches beige and the more moody mauve, and I think this is boho blue or misty moonlight. So there's a lot, you can use it with a lot of different colors. And this is not a real popular color for me. So I don't know how it's going to turn out, but it matches the designer series paper perfectly. All right. So let's go over clue number 1 that I had posted in the group yesterday. So we wanted some colored cardstock, 8.5 by 5.5, and not to score it yet. Okay, and then we needed the same colored cardstock in 4 3/4 by 3.5, and then a different, and like I said, this is wild wheat, and then a different colored cardstock, 3 3/4 by 5, and I chose early espresso, and then a different colored cardstock and a scrap. Oh, a different colored cardstock scrap. Okay, got it. And then we needed a piece that is 4 1/4 by 2 3/4. Okay, I'm just trying to make sure I have all my pieces here. And we needed some DSP, 2.5 by 4. So this is my wildly flowering. Hey, Karen. Oh, thank you, Do. I did them myself this time, and I just don't like the way they came out. And then we needed some basic white, 5 by 3 3/4. And you'll notice that, whoops, our basic white and our different colored cardstock are the same size, okay? I don't know if you noticed that. That'll come in when we're creating the card. Then I said to get an embossing folder, and I'm going to use the Dashing Designs embossing folder. And this embossing folder also is in that Wildflower Designs suite. And then, of course, our die cutting machine, because we have to use it for our embossing, and a stamp. You could do images, and I am going to actually use the wildflower design, okay? And we're going to have to die cut something out. Our paper trimmer, because we have to score. Some ink, embellishments, punches and dies, and I put the paper trimmer twice, and of course our adhesives. Thank you. Hey, Liara. All right, so let's start with our scoreboard. All right. I was going to use the other one, but I'll use this one. All right. And we're grabbing our 8.5 by 5.5. And we are going to score this at 2 1/8. Let's get rid of that blade. All right, so 2 1/8, and then 4 1/4. So 2 score lines, 2 1/8 and 4 1/4. So you can fold it just like your normal card base on your 4 1/4 score line. Once that is folded and burnished, you're going to take this piece and you're going to fold it up towards the top. All right, just like that. I'm going to pull this down just a little bit. So we have our card and it's folded back the opposite way. Now, if you cut your designer series paper and you have it's directional, where this one could be directional, we can do it. I guess I can do it this way. All right, you can excuse me, create this card landscape or portrait. And I think where I cut my paper and it looks like it goes this way, I'm going to do portrait. Okay, all right. So before we get started, let me grab a scrap, and I think I have one right here. And I do. It's stuck. All right. And I'm going to grab, I think I'm going to grab some early espresso. And this is the new wildflower designs. They're cute little flowers. And I'm going to grab this one actually. Oops. All right. And it's a cute little flower. And I am going to use this with the early espresso. And I want it to stamp it so it dries. All right. So they're really pretty flowers, aren't they? Really deep, a lot of detail. All right, and then for our sentiment, you needed a sentiment stamp. I'm going with the Unbounded Love. You needed a piece for your sentiment, a basic white scrap. I actually die cut one of the dies from the Unbounded Love in the early espresso with this little piece to cover up those stitches, and I'm going to actually emboss mine in white, and I am not sure what I'm going to use. Maybe I'll do My Heart Goes Out to You. It should fit. So let's get this on a block, get everything prepared. I have a meeting tonight, and it only happens once a month. All right, I wanted another one. Let's see, where is it? I wanted the With Sympathy. Here we go. And I think I'll put that on the inside. All right, see, I told you I didn't have all my stuff together. So let's pick that up. All right, so let's go back to our card. So I have my images. I'll run these through the cut and emboss machine when I do my embossing. So here's the dies for this set. Okay, pretty little frames. Let's see if I have some washi tape. So is everybody doing good? The weather was pretty warm today. It's not sticky. It was very, very muggy. What set am I using? It's called Wildflower Designs. All right, so that one's ready to get put through. All right, so here is our card base, okay? Now, remember I said our white and our brown are exactly the same? This white piece is going to go on the inside of our card. All right. This piece we're going to put here, and we're going to line it up so we have a space around the top, okay? And then we want it around the bottom too. So we are just going to add a bit of glue, and I'm going to use glue, and we just want it on the top edge. Of course, I forgot to put my lid back on. Come on. There we go. All right. So I am just going to put my glue on the top edge, because I don't want it going past this line. So I'm going to lay it on this piece. All right. And we're going to center it so it looks like our card is folded closed, right? You want it centered all the way around. Yeah, it's been very hot today. All right, so if you need a little bit more glue after you do it, I would do it now, okay? This way it is adhered really well. Next, you're going to take your piece that is 4 3/4 by 3 1/2, and we're going to run it through our cut and emboss machine with our embossing folder. And like I said, this is the Dashing Designs. I think this is the embossing folder that goes with this suite. Hey, Carol. Let's just make sure. Wildflower 41. Just going to pull it up quick. Yes. All right. So this is the suite. It has the designer series paper. Here's the stamp set, the dies. It has these really pretty embellishments and the embossing folder. All right. That was this suite. So let me just run this through, and I'm going to run through my flower. I'm going to do the flower first. All right, so here's the flower. I have one more, but I'm not sure if I need it. And then we're going to do the embossing folder. Hopefully. I was going to say, I hope I have the right sandwich. And I did. All right. So here is what it looks like embossed. All right, it's a pretty neat design. And we're going to take this embossed piece, and you can use it actually on either side. All right, and we're going to add some glue. And this now is going to get centered on, I'm just going to lift this up a second, the piece that we just adhered. Make sure it is straight. All right, just like that. You know what? I think I'm going to do it this way because I'm just looking, and my sentiment is not gonna fit. All right, so next what we're gonna do is grab our designer series paper, and I may have to do this again, 2.5 by 4. Give me 1 second. I am just going to change the orientation of my paper. Let's see. Give me a second here. 2.5. All right. There we go. At least that's a little better. All right. And I'm just going to add some glue. So here's our designer series paper. We're going to add it to our matte layer, which is the 4.25 by 2.75. All right. So we want to get this so it is on here straight. Yeah, this set is pretty. Central Kansas. All right, so for this piece, let's pop this one up. Let's clean this off because I got glue all over it. So we're just going to add some dimensionals. And here's our card. So we're going to take this now and we are going to put it centered on that piece. Okay. And then for your frame, you don't have to die cut a frame. You could use a rectangle and just cut it. But I decided to use this frame with a scrap. And I am going to grab some Versamark. And we're using My Heart Goes Out to You. And I'm going to use white embossing powder. Excuse me. It's dry in here. I'm just going to, and hot. Get my Versamark, and we want to make sure that we really ink it up. And I'm going to actually hit this with my embossing buddy. Let's see if we can't get this on here straight. And let's add our powder. All right, and while that's sitting there for a second, let me turn on my heat gun and heat it up a minute. Oh, it's not plugged in. Give me a second here. There we go. Looking to see if it's straight. Now, when it comes to white embossing powder, you do want to be a little careful because the white does actually burn. Ask me how I know, because I've burnt it before. And it turns brown, or a gold, like a gold brown color, almost like this wild wheat. All right, so here's our sentiment. And I actually did cut out an additional little frame with the flowers. And I am going to just very carefully add some glue. And I'm going to take it and put it around so it's over top, if I can. Pretty much over the stitches. Now I know that one side I'm going to have to add a little bit more glue. Oh, maybe not. All right, so there is the sentiment. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to actually pop this up onto the front also instead of adhering it. And you can put it in the center. We're going to lose that pretty flower. But you know what? That's where I'm going to put it, right in the center. Now you can add embellishments. You can add some ribbon if you like. I'm going to leave mine just plain since it is going to be a sympathy card. I'm going to grab my basic white piece. And don't mind me. Oh, here it is. I was going to say, don't mind me. I'm looking for my stamp. Here it is. And I'm going to pull out my early espresso again. And I am going to stamp with sympathy. And then we have our flower here. And I'm actually going to grab some bubble bath and just color in the flower a bit. And then for the leaves, it looks like garden green. And we don't have garden green. So I'm going to grab some shaded spruce. All right, just a touch of color, okay? Now, what we need to do is add some seal to the back of this. You know, I don't like adding glue to the back of my basic white layer. So we're just going to add some seal, okay? Make sure you have it in the right direction. And I'm going to open up the card and I'm going to lay this down so it is even with the edges on the front, okay? You want it to be hidden, and I want to just make sure that it's going to be hidden. I may have to take just a hair off of this. I wanted to be very careful so it didn't stick to my cutter. So again, you don't want it to go beyond the edges of that front piece. All right. But we do want it to be straight. So I'm just going to hold on to it and then there we go. Push it down. All right. So now we're going to take that little flower or whatever you decide to use, and we are going to grab some dimensionals. Open up our card and lay it down wherever you like inside the card. And I'm going to add mine right here to the center. Okay. And that will be what will hold the card open. Just like that. All right. So it'll hold the card so it'll stand and then it will close. Just like that. So the colors don't really look too bad. Thanks, Karen. It's really quick and easy, right? Just a couple sentiments, some paper, and one little flower stamp. So there you go, a quick and easy card. I did not pick a winner. I will combine the posts from last week and this week, and we'll pick a winner for next week. So ladies, make sure you get your card made, share it in our group. It is, right? The colors do look pretty nice. Share it in our group, and next week we'll pick a winner. So thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll talk to everybody soon. Bye-bye.